Hello, welcome back. And today we're talking about a concept you have never heard before because it's an Eastern concept that the East knows and the West cannot grasp their head around. But I am thinking you guys will after this video. We're talking about every guy experiences the amount of femininity he deserves. And let's break that down because this is so deep. Every guy experiences the amount of femininity he deserves. Or every man gets to delight in the amount of femininity he deserves. So, what does that even mean? Well, think of it in the West, where we're seen as, and everybody as a soul is equal, okay? It's just our roles in the world are a little bit different to create polarity, right? That's why a super masculine man isn't going to be attracted to another super masculine man in a romantic relationship, right? Or a super feminine woman will not be attracted to another super feminine woman. Like, it takes polarity. So the more feminine you are, the more masculine of a guy you will attract, and vice versa. And the thing is that we see here today, especially in the West, is we try to be so much the same. We want to dress the same, do the same thing, work the same, act the same, speak the same, everything the same. And what happened? Nobody has satisfying romantic relationships anymore, right? Like, when is the last time you've probably seen somebody just so in love and happy and attracted to each other when they've been married for like over 10 years? You usually do not ever see that, right? And that's why today's topic is so important. The thing is, if a guy wants a roommate, that's pretty much what most guys want, it seems like these days. He thinks he wants a woman for, to get pleasure out of her, but for everything else, he just wants someone that he can half and half with, 50-50. He can, or she can pay half the rent, she can pay half the bills, she can work the same amount he does, even earn more than he does, pull her own load, all this stuff. And then what does he get? He gets a roommate. Because she is not going to be in her feminine, and the polarity is going to go straight out the window. Like, you guys are not going to be super attracted to each other. Wow, turned green. Right? So, most people think they want love, and they see Hollywood and all of this stuff, and they think that's what they want, but then they act in a totally opposite way. A guy, if he wants that, should just go get a roommate if he wants someone to go 50-50 with, because that's literally what he's going to get. Okay, this light has been killing me today. It just keeps changing without permission. Like it's doing right now. It's possessed. And yeah, so if you don't want a roommate and you actually want a deeply divine, amazing relationship, then you're going to love this next part. I'm going to break down the difference between femininity and masculinity in a way that you haven't heard before. So it's from the East where we get the aspect, the idea, the whole thought behind masculine and feminine energy, because they explain it like no one else. So when you study Samkhya philosophy, which is from Ayurveda, from the Vedas, ancient Indian history, it explains it this way. So there's Brahma, which is what they call God, the pure consciousness. And from that, when it gets expressed in the physical world, there's the masculine and the feminine part. The masculine is Purusha and the feminine is Prakriti, which that isn't as important as what the qualities are. So it explains it as like there's the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And that's different from just masculine and feminine, because someone can be masculine and be showing traits of aggression and such, but that's not the divine masculine. That's not what it's supposed to be. And then someone could be dressing feminine and acting feminine, but not actually be feminine, right? So we're talking about the divine aspect from God. So for the divine masculine, it's explained as pure consciousness. It's the male energy. It's pure. It's the soul. It witnesses everything. and it's attributed with square lines. But that's the thing to hang on to. It witnesses everything. And that's what the male is in a relationship. He's the witness. The feminine brings the beauty and the pleasure and the fun and everything to it. And the drama and all of the stuff, the emotions, the whole roller coaster of emotions. She brings all of that. And he can hold the space in the container and witness it. That's why in movies with James Bond, which I've never seen, but I've seen clips, everything can be blowing up behind him, right? And yet he's just like walking out of it, like totally calm. And so what's so attractive to women with that isn't that it's the bombs and like all that stuff. It's because they know that he can handle her emotions, her whole thing of emotions. Yeah. And for the feminine, for the divine feminine, it's explained, it's feminine energy, first of all. It's the body, the mind, the material nature, the senses. She brings all of that. It's the creative potential. It's form and color. It brings the life. And it's the feminine curves, right? And it cannot exist without the masculine. And that's the part I want you guys to hang on to. And that it cannot exist without the masculine. Think of a riverbed. There has to be a riverbed for there to be a river. Because if there's no container, then there's like no river, right? And that's the thing for the feminine to exist. It's the more luxurious energy. The masculine container has to be there first for it to flourish. Otherwise, it has to be masculine itself to survive and take care of itself and protect itself. So, anyways, it's this beautiful concept. So when I'm talking about every guy experiences the amount of femininity he deserves, or every man gets to delight in the amount of femininity that he deserves, I'm not talking about deserving as in like, oh, you're worthy and you're not. Like, that's out of the question. Everyone's worthy. It's just how much can he hold space for? And most men cannot hold space for anything. Like, no amount of feminine energy. They want it without the effort. They want it without creating the haven for it to flourish. Unless you have like a super masculine man, right? And that knows what he wants. So, for most men, they cannot hold very much femininity. They can't hold the space for all of that wonderfulness. So they end up turning everything into a super, masculine 50-50 relationship thing where everyone is turned off and unhappy. And women definitely have their part to play in this as well. And this light is driving me crazy. But yes, if you're not feminine, then he cannot be masculine. So that has to be there. So women, there's no excuses on your end. But the thing is, if a man is not stepping into his manhood, then you cannot be in your feminine. But the thing is, through your femininity, you can inspire him to step into that. Say if you're already married or whatever, right? Because you're not going to be going and looking for a new guy at that point. So that's turning blue. Masculine men, and especially in the East, where they know what the woman brings. It's not like that she has to bring anything. They know what she brings. She brings, the masculine is very physical. It's a very tangible thing of what the masculine brings. But the feminine isn't so tangible. It's not like she's bringing the money and these very physical things like the house and all of that, right? And I don't even know why I keep saying that. That's kind of annoying. But in the East, they know what the woman brings. She brings the beauty, the femininity, the pleasure. She brings all of that. And she doesn't have to bring anything else. Like, most people there have helpers and servants and drivers and all of these things. So it's not like it's the feminine's job to like cook and clean and, you know, take care of the kids all the time. Like, no, she's the queen of the household. So it's just so funny that here it's like, oh, this is what the feminine brings. But really, you know, that's all she needs to bring. And, okay, whatever. The light is not listening to me. So in the East, they know what the woman brings, the beauty, the pleasure, the femininity, and that's enough for them. See, the bigger the container he can create, the more beauty and pleasure he can have. So, because if the woman is cooking and freaking out about all kinds of things and super stressed out, there's only so much femininity and beauty and like all of that he can get from her. But if he can create more openness and pleasure in her life, she can give him more, right? That's the creating space part. And, you know, because if you're cooking and stuff, your energy and everything is going to that, you know, not just, you know, making him happy and all of that and making yourself happy. So I'm not saying it has to be this way, but I'm just saying that what the feminine just naturally brings, like just what's on her person, is enough. And let's see, what else did I write? You know, but then there's this balance, because if, you know, he's wealthy enough to be having all of this help and extra stuff for her, then it means that he's probably also working a lot and not home all the time or often enough or whatever, you know, or just not present. So there's that balance where, you know, a woman has to decide what is she okay with and what is she not okay with. Like, is she good with having all of this help but her man not being super present? Or can he be more present but not be making like all of the, you know, like a lot more money? So there's like this balance thing that comes in. I still believe you get to have it all, because I have seen it, and if someone can do it out there in the universe, then we definitely can too, because we have the same potential as everybody else. But yeah, every man gets the amount of femininity he deserves. So if you're a guy out there, level that up and attract someone super feminine for a wonderful life, and you guys will both give each other a wonderful life. So, because that's how God intended it, right? Because when the masculine and the feminine come together, it's full unity. So, I hope that helped you guys, gave you something to think about, something totally different. And I love this topic. I was talking about it with a close friend of mine. And yeah, it was so, so, so good. And I just had to share it with you guys. And yeah, definitely like this video. I'll wait for you. It really helps me. And subscribe if you're new. And leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. And also, I opened my Cash App. So if you want to support the channel that way, I would really appreciate it. That'd be super sweet. And yeah, if you want to go even deeper, if you're a woman, into your feminine energy and what it is and what it's not, and how to become your own dream girl, check out my course down below called Divinely Favored. It is so, so good. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.